maybe we've talked about it before, and I'm like, I know I'm going into spicy territory, but I'm also so fed up that I don't care at a certain level.
Right.
I'm like, I wrote like an internal thing. It was I guess it's technically an internal document responding to somebody else within 400 million. And I used this phrasing around appreciating certain things about mystery without encouraging mystification and obfuscation around certain things. And what I was like speaking to on that is how we're in this moment where it's also tied to the shaman piece, like the digital shaman piece,
Right.
in the sense of like all types of ideas are fucking flying right now.
Yeah.
Like that aren't grounded in reason and logic.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say it. Astrology.
You hate it so much.
He has a personal beef with astrology.
And let me give some context. Which people who they watch the show, they already know. I was raised in a fundamentalist Christian household, right? I was indoctrinated.
But God's real.
Yeah, right. No disrespect to
God.
No disrespect even to people who believe in astrology or whatever. Organized religion is one thing. I feel like we're going through a shift with organized religion. I haven't looked at the statistics or the data. This is just going off of a feeling in a sense that, yeah, we're not like in the church. There's a lot of people breaking off with organized religion. There's all this fucked up shit going on in the world. So people are looking for some type of existential thing to like fill a void perhaps left by these larger belief institutions or whatever.
Yeah.
Which now creates this fertile ground for this very like more fractured
metaphysical
mythology, whatever. And it's like we talk about the imagination all the time. We talk about creativity all the time. When it starts crossing over into this territory where it's tied to like political agendas and tied to and authoritarian ones, like these are people where they're trying to impose something onto you, even if it's something as tiny as a judgment.
Right.
And with the astrology thing, astrology didn't start to really like get more under my skin until people started giving me shit because I did not believe in it.
Right.
Or they started making judgments on me, I'm sorry, over the goofiest, most illogical thing imaginable.
I can full-throatedly say,
do you understand what I'm saying?
Astrology is dumb as fuck.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like if we love Harry Potter, right? But we're not gonna like walk into a room and be like, what house are you a part of? Do you identify with? And then fucking like literally treat you differently because of how you respond to that.
Right.
Do you know?
I mean, we're in an age where I'm with you.
Don't put it on me. That's my whole thing. Don't put it on me.
I've been bullied for being a Libra. I've been bullied for having green text bubbles. All this shit. I wouldn't put any of this shit past
anybody. And only one of those is fair.
Okay. But just like all this
man.
Yeah.
I know this is going to upset. I'm apologizing in advance because I know this is...
No, don't apologize.
Bro,
What's there apologize for? It's fucking made up dumb shit.
Yo, one of the funniest things I read,
Should we spend the rest of this episode like literally explaining why
real quick, all I wanted to say
bro.
is just fucking... It is the most popular religion now.
Yes. Thank you for putting it in a sentence. That's what I was leading up to.
That,
It is the new religion.
You psychopaths are talking about this like it's fucking math.
Yeah.
People were saying, you know, what was it? 504 I think was like, man, and Quavo's an Aries, so you know he's really taking this hard.
Bro.
And people are like retweeting it like Quavo if he wasn't an Aries, and it's like pictures of people dancing happily. It's like, you're out of your mind.
But even think about how we're walking on eggshells talking about it.
Yeah.
That is a sign. That is a sign of my point.
Okay.
Why should anyone feel that way talking about belief systems?
Right.
If you're making people feel that way, there's a fucking problem.
Yo.
Like, there's a fucking problem.
I'm gonna jump on the train with Connor and say fuck astrology. I don't give a fuck. I'm not walking on eggshell. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
The only good
But you're right. I've seen people get upset when you say that to them.
Bro.
They're like, okay, you don't need to be so negative. You don't need to. Whoa.
Well, they're either doing that or they're saying, oh, it's just for fun.
Yeah.
It's just for fun.
It's never
like,
for fun.
Are you lying to yourself or me or both? Like, what's going on here?
Two things. The only good product of astrology is the album Aquemini by Outkast. And two, the funniest
and
thing.
Skyrim skill trees.
And Skyrim skill trees, yes. But the funniest thing I read about astrology, I think it was Adorno maybe. He was like the reason people are so willing to buy into this shit is because it uses like the cosmos and like the most empirical shit, like the mathematical movement of the stars and planets to tell you to like give yourself a break today. Like just chill out today. Be kind to yourself. To do like it uses the biggest scientific shit to tell you to do nothing basically. Yeah. And so it doesn't it doesn't feel like a big deal.
I have a video I want to pull up, but I want to introduce some people to something that maybe they have not heard of before. Just for anyone who has not heard of this before, and I'm saying this genuinely. Confirmation bias is the tendency to search for, interpret, favor, and recall information in a way that confirms or supports one's prior beliefs or values. People display this bias when they select information that supports their views, ignoring contrary information, or when they interpret ambiguous evidence as supporting their existing attitudes. The effect is strongest for desired outcomes, for emotionally charged issues, and for deeply entrenched beliefs. Confirmation bias cannot be eliminated, but it can be managed, for example, by education and training in critical thinking skills.
For an example that's relevant to our previous conversation, it's a lot like if you think Jewish people run the media and then you know the one Jewish man who invented the 360 deal. It's a lot like that.
It's true.
It's a lot like that.
And I will say
thank you for bringing that.
Thank you, seriously. And then there's a parallel with fucking fortune tellers. For people who think astrology is legitimate, but the fortune telling shit is quack, whatever. It's the same shit going on.
Yeah.
You put out a broad enough feeling or character trait or whatever, and you kind of just keep doing guesswork. You refine it down to where you're using the stuff that you're using, the descriptors that to the person it feels so specific and so whatever. But in reality, you're talking about human feelings and traits that lots of people feel. Not that we're not very different people and that we don't have different experiences, of course. Yeah. But it's the same thing at play.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I was talking to Nas about this yesterday. It's like it's the same argument that you could make about nation states, belief systems, all these things where people just have this cognitive dissonance where they can believe in their one thing and still say like all these other ones are bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's like
that's confirmation. It's the selective.
Yeah, it's just yes, exactly. It's like most people, like Islamophobia is big right now. For the most part, it's not because, unless you're Bill Maher, it's not because I don't believe in anything. It's because no, I believe in this thing over here. Right. And so you're like, fuck Muslims, I'm a Christian. Fuck Jewish people, I'm this. Yeah, or or fuck Russia, I'm American. Fuck China. But like, you could just say fuck all of this shit.
Yeah.
You know, to broaden it out and maybe like give astrologists a break, I guess. And it's fuck all of this shit. It's not just y'all.
Right. I'll throw a bone because if I may, you brought up tarot cards and psychics. And it's like, I can see how all of this is fun. But we're all so bored. It's becoming more than fun. We're investing in it. You're like,
and people are making money. They are exploiting other people off of this shit. Yeah. That's the real. That's just like how I felt growing up in the church and feeling like, wow, we are getting fucking exploited and scammed.
Right.
Just like the healers, just like the whatever.
And again, to be clear, it's the institutional part I'm talking about. It's not just if you want to believe in something.
Yes.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the institutional shit where somebody, for example, dog, this is
infrastructural even.
Infrastructural, yeah. And look, this part is like, maybe a little bit personal, but I was at my grandma's funeral last summer in Nigeria, and I remember just like they're reading Bible passages, and every single one is about like being a faithful servant to serving your master, all of this shit. And I'm just watching all these African people read these passages. I'm just like, are you not hearing the like obvious shit here? Are you not hearing the obvious way that they position this fucking figure?
It can be used a lot of different ways.
It can be used as a, you know, one big way that's summed up by Michael B. Kunin in a fucking text you could read, where literally, God is perfect, people are not. God is the master, humans are servants.
Right.
God also, you can't see him, so we don't have a physical representation on Earth. So why not just put the state right there?
These are the interpreters. These are the interpreters for the God.
And also how like God was the state before there was a state.
It's like maybe ask yourself why all the most patriotic people are also super religious.
Right.
You know?
And
it's a state.
I wanted to say this. A part of me, because from the infrastructural, organizational, the grifters, it's like, oh man, you got all these different charts, and you got all they're really fleshing it out. They're fleshing out their mythology, and a part of me is I'm thinking of, you know, like Rick, like thinking about the trauma response, thinking about how for a lot of these people, it's just them trying to feel some degree of control, like there's some degree of like predictability in the chaos that we're living through and suffering under these systems, right? And it's like it's just a more secure. I met a woman one time, more secure and more safe because I can predict it, and I feel like I'm in control. I know who is who, and it's a little bit more of something that I can feel and hold on to. Right. And my whole thing is like, right around the corner, there's some deeper digging you'd have to do, but you feel way better when you can kind of just the critical thinking piece, you know, try and just face some difficult truths and realities so that you can find others who are facing it too and trying to find a better way and actively making life better for each other. Don't hang on to these hyper individualistic myths and whatever, that it's just putting more money in these scammers' pockets.
Right.
I met a woman one time who was like, yeah, I just kind of believe in magic because it makes me feel safe. Like, she was like a witch type vibe. And it's like,
Voldemort did magic. What?
She didn't know about Avacadabra. But like,
someone's
to that
never
idea,
seen Halloween Town. Okay.
But to that idea that it makes you feel like you can control shit.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
a stand-in.
It's like I just saw Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, and it just made me feel so safe, you know?
This is the first
Hex Girls.
This is just like the fundamental, it's literally a minute long, and it's Bill Nye talking about astrology. This is like the perfect intro, because then he's getting at the core issue and critique, and then it's just a matter of how much detail do you want to go into here to flesh out what he said.
You believe in astrology?
A little bit.
And what makes you say that?
Because I can see the stars.
That was a wise answer.
You probably know your sign. Or do you? Try this. Wait for your birthday, then stay up all night and watch where the sun rises. It will pass in front of one of the 12 constellations of the zodiac. They say I'm a Sagittarius. So on my birthday, you might expect the sun to rise in the constellation Sagittarius. And it did, 2,000 years ago, when the Babylonians made all this up. But it doesn't now. In the last 2,000 years, the Earth has wobbled like a top. So now on my birthday, the sun rises in Scorpio, not Sagittarius. So maybe you'd have to be a Capricorn to be a Sagittarius, and Scorpios would have to be Libras. See, astrologers are off one full sign. In 2,000 more years, they'll be off 2 signs. But they don't seem to care. So in these reflective moments, I ask myself, am I a fun-loving Sagittarius or a sexy Scorpio?
He's like, this dumbass shit, I'm not even going to rotate my whole body towards you to explain it. I'm just going to tell you to show over my shoulder.
It's like you're looking at the past also when you're looking
Yeah.
at the stars. You're
Yeah.
like so far
What was
away.
that?
that
Maybe
you're
2,000
looking-
years ago when this
Yeah.
dumb shit was made.
Right.
Yeah. What was that? What was that? Video?
No, but I'm saying even you see what I'm saying beyond that, even beyond when it was made, the actual stars.
Yeah. What was that video you linked a while ago where somebody said that? Where they were just like,
Maybe it was a
I think it was that
Jubilee.
maybe it was that.
Oh, okay.
Where they're talking about like. It was like astrologers versus astrologists.
Yeah, I think. It
And
was
they were-
Jubilee.
That's funny as hell.
And dude was
That's
straight
unfair.
up. Yeah, right. And dude was straight up like, yeah, so the star he was kind of like, I remember him being like condescending about it. He's like, yeah, so like the star you're praying to, like you're just seeing the light from when it exploded thousands and thousands of years ago.
Oh, yeah, that's fucking true also, bro.
Yeah,
Come on.
right. It's like these things are not static, man. But that's the shit I was talking about. Is like,
Bro, they got to
Is-
do a fourth of a year every year.
right.
So they do that once every 4 years. This shit's
Right.
not accurate, bro.
But that's the shit I'm talking about. Is like the woman talking about like I can see the stars. That's why I believe in it. It's like there's just enough like scientific foundation for you
Right.
to be like, yeah, it's more real than like Jesus. I can't see Jesus.
So would that mean that all life has zodiac signs? I mean, what does that mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, we just happen to behave. I mean,
Yeah,
I've also heard that maybe it was like originated as like a farming technique. Like, oh, if you have cows that are born in the winter, they'll act this way or whatever. Like that is the only thing that ever makes sense to me. But
yeah.
I don't
Even
know,
that,
bro.
even that, I'm like, I don't know.
Made up,
I don't know
to
about
be
that, bro.
honest.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I find it.
What
very
are
difficult.
you?
I'm black. I'm African American. A Nigerian,
sad.
but that's a nation state distinctions that I don't really.
I'm like, but going back to what I said in that internal writing, like there is mystery and there's beauty in mystery.
Yeah.
But my brain from that point doesn't go to like, well, let's just sit in that till the end of time.
Right.
There's also beauty in discoverability.
Yeah.
There's beauty in trying to discover and unpack
There's so much
what is
beauty.
unknown.
There's so much beauty in discovering things that are already here.
Yeah.
Right.